أن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه تسليما كثيرا. There is an authentic hadith that is connected to what's going to happen in the future by Allah's permission and with His hikmah and by His qudra. The Prophet, he said, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, الآيات خرزات منظومات بالسلك فإن يقطع يتبع بعضها بعضا. He said that the ayat here is talking about the ashrat al-sa'a, the signs of Yawm al-Qiyamah. And specifically it's talking about the major signs, the ashrat al-sa'a al-kubra, the 10 major ones. He said that those ayat are like khazarat manzumat bisilk. They're like a string of pearls, like on a necklace, that are connected. Once the thing is broken, they're going to fall off very quickly, and immediately they will follow each other. So one of the big fitnas of the major signs is once one of them comes, it won't be long before the next one comes. So we've been here 1,444 years after the hijrah of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But we've been seeing ashratu sa'a, the sughra, the small ones. And sometimes one or two may happen in the year. But over this period of time, 1,444 years, quite a few have come. When the major signs come, the Dajjal, the next one's going to come very quickly. Ya'juj and Ma'juj, the next big fitna is going to come very quickly. The Dabba, the next one is going to come very quickly. So the reason why I'm mentioning that is, although those are the issues of the major signs, nonetheless right now, these minor signs are also happening relatively quickly. For an example, the last few weeks, we've been faced with a lot of waves of trials and tribulations, fitan, waves, amwaj, for this ummah. Some of us in our own personal lives, and all of us collectively as an ummah, this country, our ummah, the dunya, things are happening one after another. Every week there's a new situation. The queen died, and that was a fitna for many Muslims. They didn't know what to do. They compromised their Islam. They made themselves people who were ashab al-dhil because of that fitna. They don't know what to do. It's an opportunity to have izzah, an opportunity to have shukr to Allah Azza wa Jal for the ni'mah of His hidayah for everybody here and our children. Should make the qulub raqiqa, make your hearts light. Turn to Allah and thank Allah for your mother and your father and your grandmother and your grandfather for giving you as a gift, the hiba, al-Islam. And then after that happened, we had this fitna over there in Leicester and in Birmingham, where because of the agitation of the racist, fascists, Hindus who are preaching a religion and an ideology of fascism, they want the genocide of Muslims. They started the problem. They initiated the problem. The government allowed one of their racist members of parliament to come into this country, known for her extreme ideas and ideology, but was still masmuh laha bid-dukhul, fadakhalat wa ash'alat nar al-fitna on the people. And when the government dealt with it, and the police and the newspaper and the media, the Muslims were made to be the mujrimeen, and the people who started the issue, fitna. We didn't get that fitna as much as the people in Leicester and in London got it, or Birmingham. Over 50 people have been in prison. The vast majority of them are Muslims. The vast majority of them, Muslims. Fitna. We thought that it was going to stop there. Recently, we have the death of one of the big personalities in Islam by the name of Yusuf al-Qaradawi. In this city of Leeds, there are many people who love him in this city, in London, in Birmingham, in every city, in every country. He has his sha'biyah. He has his followers. So when he died, it was a fitna, big fitna, because the Muslims were polarized. They were on extreme sides of the pole. And as a result of his death, there was this thing, a niza' and baghda and karahiyah between our ummah, with all of what's going on, with all of the problems that we already have. Last week, I went to Birmingham on the train from Leeds. The train was packed out like sardines. I was wondering, what's going on? What was going on? In Birmingham, there was the gay pride parade. When I arrived in Birmingham, I couldn't believe my eyes. I've never been in the middle of a gay pride parade. I've seen it on YouTube. I've seen it in the news, but I was dead smack in the middle, like Moni in the middle. I was in the middle. I couldn't believe, wallahi, how I saw women dressed, how I saw men dressed. If you had your child with you, it would have been khajal to walk down the street. Unbelievable. I haven't seen the likes of it in my life, like really just walking. Fit in. Wallahi, I actually thought when I was walking, because it was going to rain, it was raining, stopped raining, it's raining. It was as if Yawmul Qiyamah, iqtarabat as-sa'a. That's how it was, the way the air was. And I said to my family when I got home, we have to get more serious. We have to get more serious. In our school, the fitin, the brother has a child in his school, and in this Muslim school, Islamic school, and they're forcing him and his child to do music. The child has a violin. He has to play the piano. Well, he's a Muslim who doesn't want that. The curriculum, he has enough courage to stand up and say, I don't want that. I don't want my children doing that. I'm not that kind of Muslim who, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. If they eat pork, we eat pork. If the pork comes to the lunch, let them eat it. They do, we do it. Don't tip the boat. He's not like that. He went to the leader of the school. Hey, I don't want my kid doing that. I'm not trying to change the curriculum, but I don't want my kid doing it. It's the Muslims who are the ones who are attacking him. It's the Muslims who make it difficult for him. It's the Muslims in the school of the kid who are wearing LGBT rainbow colors. It's the Muslims. Fitin after fitin after fitin. Amwaj. What you going to do? Next week or soon, inshallah, Rabi al-Awwal, the Mawlid al-Maz'um of the Nabi of Islam, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. You know, the Mawlid. In America, there's a celebration called Thanksgiving, where the Americans celebrate an ihtifal of discovering America. And it's kadhib. They didn't discover America. But they do this ihtifal of killing, annihilating the Native Americans who were there first. And then they accepted them and helped the Europeans to live. So they make ihtifal of this day. Every single year in African American families in America, every Thanksgiving, every Christmas, every Eastmas dinner, there's mushajara between the same uncle and the same aunt. Every year they keep arguing. I come into Islam, I say there's no difference. Every year for the Mawlid, our family, we just keep fighting. Every year, polarized. People on this extreme and the people on the other extreme. When we have a religion that tells us, don't go to extremes, ya Abdullah. Stay in the middle in the Sirat al-Mustaqim. Love moderately, hate moderately, work moderately, rest moderately. Let your anger be moderate. Everything has to be in the middle. Anything, there's a qaida. Anything, ayyu shay'in, anything. If you do too much of it, it's not good for you, ya akhi. It's not good for you. I give the khutbah, I get excited. Don't let your voice go up so loud where people said Now something's wrong with him. Yeah, he's crazy. And don't let your voice be so low where the people in the back can't hear you speak. Turn it up so the people in the back can hear you. Everything has to be moderate. So I want to focus on this thing, and I'm going to need you, brothers, inshallah, to put your hats on. People were civilized. I challenge you, atahaddakum with rahmah and muhabba and taqdeer, with respect. It's a sensitive issue for the one who wants to let his mind or his awatif tatahakkamu fi. If your emotions are going to rule you, then you're going to get mad. But that's not my goal and my objective. But I want to take this as an opportunity to address this serious issue. And that is the Sheikh that died, Yusuf al-Qardawi. Rahmatullahi alayhi rahmatin wasi'ah. People are polarized. Let me say from this minbar, on this day, to my community, knowing full well, we have people who raise him up higher than what he deserves. Much higher than what he deserves. Just as we raise up Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam higher than he deserves. And Abu Hanifa, and Malik, and Ahmed, and Shafi'i, and Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, and the local Malvi Saab. We raise people up higher than they deserve. Don't be of those people who you let your heart, يتعلق بالأشخاص. Your heart is connected with people. Our hearts have to be connected to principles. Principles, qawaid in the deen. The Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, أوثق عرى الإيمان الحب في الله والبغض في الله. One of the strongest components, the ura, like a button, you can say it. One of the strongest button, the strongest pillar in Islam is for you to love for Allah and to hate for Allah. The day may come we have to draw the line in the sand and I have to say, you are my enemy, my mother, my father. I may have to do that. I pray to Allah that that day never comes, that Allah guides them to Islam before that day comes. Don't allow me to see that day. But it may have to happen. And I get tested like that. You as well. You cannot make justification because you love the person and the thing that he's doing is not right. Now, I'm not here, as the Prophet told us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, la tasubbu al-amwat. Don't curse people who have died. They have gone to get their hukm from Allah. The Prophet said, mustarih or mustarahu minhu. When the Muslim dies, he's mustarih or mustarah minhu. The companion said, what do you mean by that, Ya Rasulullah? He said, whenever a Muslim dies, then he has chucked out of the dunya. And he has raha from the mashakil of the dunya. He doesn't have to worry about his children anymore. Doesn't have to worry about money and paying the rent anymore. That's if he's a good person. But if he dies and he's a bad person, then the community has gotten raha from him. He's off of our shoulders. Listen carefully. I'm not here to make a ta'n, a sub in anyone. I'm trying to talk to your aqul about an ongoing issue. Al-ghulu, and going overboard in our love for people when it is clear that it's a problem. Allah said in the Quran, Ya Ahl al-Kitab, La taghlu fi dinikum, wa la taqulu ala Allahi illa al-haq, innama al-Masih, Isa ibn Maryam, Rasulullahi, wa kalimatuhu alqaha ila Maryam, wa ruhun minhu, fa aminu billahi wa rasulihi, wa la taqulu thalathatun tahu, khayrun lakum. That is an ayah for the Yahud, the Nasara. Don't go overboard in your religion. And don't say only the truth. Say the truth about Isa ibn Maryam, the messenger of Allah. He is the messenger of Allah, and he is the ruh that Allah gave to his mother Maryam, said to her, be, and he was born like that. He's the kalima from Allah, and the ruh from Allah. Not Ruhullah al-Khomeini. Ruhullah al-Khomeini, people have GHALOO, and a man that they call Ruhullah al-Khomeini of Iran. And based upon that GHALOO, that man talked bad about Abu Bakr, Umar, and Aisha. And I don't know أوثق أُرُ الإيمان الحب في الله والبغض في الله. I tell everybody here in a real cool, moderate, relaxed way. Anybody has a problem with Abu Bakr and Umar, I have a problem with you. That's my deen. But I'm going to look at what's your level and what's your problem, what's the nature of it, and the way you deal with the problem. If you bring fire, I'm going to match your fire. But if you just don't know, I'm going to try my best. But I am not, by any stretch of the imagination, going to make any justification for that. Wallahi, I stand on this minbar. We have this minbar. We have this masjid, this space. We have this time. We have this adhan. We have these sufuf. We have these Islamic clothes. We have these liha. We have these jilbabs, this Quran. Abu Bakr ibn as-Siddiq. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq was the first person after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam from the Bani Adam. Why all of that is possible. He is the deen, a tremendous part of the deen. But غلو في الدين. إياكم والغلو فإنما أهلك من كان قبلكم الغلو في الدين. Beware of going overboard in your religion. Don't go overboard in your religion. It destroyed the people who came before you. As it relates to Sheikh Yusuf al-Qardawi, rahmatullahi alayhi, Ummat al-Islam, why are we polarized in extremes? One extreme are the people who love him extremely and raise him up. And they say that he's a mujaddid. La wallahi. He's not a mujaddid. There's a hadith, sahih. The Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that Allah will send a man every 100 years to make the tajdeed of the deen. A tajdeed, he will renew the deen. Not bring a new deen, but make the ihya to aspects of the deen. But the mujaddid is not a person who comes and gives fatwas that are shirk and kufr sometimes. He took positions that were kufrun billah. I don't say he's a kafir. Don't get mad. Atahaddakum. You come. Maybe you don't know. I'll show you. I'm not here to talk bad about that man. I'm here to say, let's not be people with ghulu. There are positions that he took that went against the ijma of the Muslims past and present. Is he a scholar? Allahumma naam. He's a scholar in my opinion. How I know that? Because other ulama have acknowledged him as a scholar. The man sat on the jam'iyat and the lijan, the biggest ones in the dunya for the Muslims. The big ones that the Muslim jurists sit on. Maliki, Shafi'i, from the Muslim world, from the Arab world, from Africa, from Pakistan. When those major scholars come out of those countries, they sit on one committee, one assembly. He was on the biggest ones since you've been a Muslim. He's been on them. Scholar, no doubt. But that doesn't mean that the scholar can't get it wrong. He took positions in politics are a problem. I came up here and I told you, we as Muslims cannot make dua for non-Muslims to go into Jannah. No matter who he is, it's haram. The principle is, rahmah, when a person dies, is for the Muslim only. If a non-Muslim dies, we don't make dua of rahmah for them. He was making dua that Allah has rahmah upon the Pope, on the Pope. I'm not putting that man down. And this is one of the problems about the legacy that we leave for ourselves. If we leave legacies behind us, kids who are practicing the religion, kids who are going to carry your name in your religion, kids are going to carry your fikr, your dawah, then people will remember you with the good things. But if you come and there's talakhbat and there's mashakil, you're going to leave that back as your athar. And you can't get mad at people when they come to bring this to the table to make a point to the community. So people are extreme, calling him the mujaddid. One man said he's in Jannah with 70 heroin. Yeah, where you get that? He got mad and said, well, he's in Jannah with 70 heroin. Brother, calm down. How do you know? You Wahhabi, well, what? Yeah, calm down. I couldn't get the man just to prove that point. I wasn't even arguing. I was telling him, calm down, ya akhi, calm down. Your love can't be like that for people. And then the other extreme. The other extreme is the person who, when the man died, rahmatullahi alayhi, to make sajdatul shukr and to thank Allah for his death and to thank Allah for the fitna that he brought to the table. And it was quite a bit of fitna. It was quite a bit of fitna. But me personally, I make dua for tarahm for the man. I make dua, especially in light of the fact that whenever one of the Muslims or the shuyukh or ulama or du'at of Islam, whenever they die and they have taqseer. They have taqseer. Everyone has had. But when one of them dies and people don't agree with them, now we start making dua against them. No tarahm on them. But when the big, massive non-Muslims die, quiet. Crickets. You don't hear anything. You don't hear anything about criticisms about the non-Muslim or criticisms about the mumathirin and the mumathirat, al-fasiqeen, al-fasiqat. Just ashab Daw and Deen, where is the balance in that? You're not balanced. Only time to talk bad about the Sheikh after he died, leave him. And no doubt, ikhwani, I have to say this. It was from the practice of the companions and the righteous predecessors that if a bad person died, they would celebrate. Ali ibn Abi Talib fought against a group of people who the Prophet told them, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this man, his arm is going to be cut and you're going to fight him. He's from the Khawarij. His arm is going to be cut. At the tip of his arm will be a nipple that resembles the thadi of a mar'a, akramakum Allah. When they fought and they won, Ali said, this man has to be here. Look for this man. Look for this man. They found 4 or 5 men on top of each other. They took the first one off. He didn't have it. Second one off. He didn't have it. They got to the last one and he had it on his arm. Ali ibn Abi Talib got off of his horse and made sajda to Allah. Sajda to shukr. Sajda to shukr as a result of the maut of the Khariji who fought against him and the companions and made mischief amongst the Muslims. So my point here is very clear and very simple. Don't be a person who comes and we have people who on the Jama'ah and follow the Jama'ah of a Sheikh Yusuf al-Qaradawi, taking positions that in this religion there are a problem. That's why I always say to you in this community, all of these Jama'at are a problem in al-Islam. That doesn't mean everybody in that Jama'at is a problem. Some of them have good people and some of them have what is duna dhalika. But these Jama'at al-Siyasiyah are people mutaqallibun. 1 minute, we're talking rough and tough and loud against our hukam of al-Islam. Wa fihim ma fihim. But when the hukam of the kuffar die, we have medah for them, hub for them. So the point here is we have to be balanced. If we're going to be people who love jihad and we love tawheed, this hakim, he says something, he did something that is a word of kufr, and we don't like it. Well, when the sheikh that I love, when he makes a mistake like that, I can't make excuses. That's what today's khutbah is about. Today's khutbah is about your children. You have more than one, you have to love them equally to the best of your ability. You can't raise one over the other, the boy over the girl. Your wife is pregnant. What you want, a boy or girl? I want a boy. Okay, you want that, no problem. But if Allah gave a girl, it's not balanced to be upset with that. Be balanced in all of your affairs, in everything that you're doing. Our shabab who are in this masjid right now have a relationship with a girl who's not their wife. That's not your wife. That's your girlfriend. And you're her boyfriend. That's not balance. Do it the right way or don't do it at all. You do it the right way or you don't do it at all. Anybody who has that kind of relationship, do it the right way or you don't do it at all. Some people just can't get past Yusuf al-Qaradawi. He mentioned his name. That's all he can see. I know that there are people like that. May Allah help us and help you. It's not about the Sheikh, Yusuf al-Qaradawi, rahmatullahi alayhi. It's about the issue of at-tawazun and being a person who has insaf, being balanced in your issues. As for the people who don't want to make a tarahum on this man. And the people who feel it's haram to make a tarahum, I don't agree with that. The Prophet told us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, من قال لا إله إلا الله نفعته يوم من دهره أصابه قبل ذلك ما أصابه. Anyone who says La ilaha illallah, it will benefit him sooner or later, regardless of what happened prior to that. So if he dies and he did LGBT stuff, he died and he murdered 10 people, he died and he cut the ties of relationship off with his parents, zina, whatever he did, he died and he had relationships with an animal, akramakumullah. If he dies with La ilaha illallah, he may go to the hellfire or he may not. It's up to Allah. No one has anything to say about it. No Rasul, no angel, no human being, you or me. No one. He died owing you money. 15,000 pounds he died stealing your money. Allah put him in Jannah. If that's what Allah wants, or he may punish him. Yusuf al-Qaradawi died on La ilaha illallah. The man said, as the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to his sons, إِذَا مِتْ فَحَرِّقُونِي. Hey sons, if I die, take my body and set it on fire. Set it on fire. Light me on fire. And take my ashes, put half of my ashes in the water so that the waves would take it to the 7 seas. Scatter in the sea. And take my ashes and put it on the land so that when the wind blows, like today, this rain, the rain comes down, the wind is blowing day after day after day. When that happens, do that. They did it. Allah told the water and told the earth, bring them back together. All of those ashes came back together. Wallahi, Yawm al-Qiyam is real. Yawm al-Qiyam is real, and we'll be standing before Allah. Me having to be responsible for this subject. What was my niyat? Were they ready for it? Was I trying to fight? Was I doing it for the right reason? I'm going to have to stand before Allah. And you will too. How did you take it? Allah brought him back. Said to him, Ya abdi ma hamalaka ala ma sanat. Why did you do that? He said, khashyatuka ya rabbi wa anta alam. I was afraid of you. I was afraid of you. I was afraid that you was going to punish me. The Prophet said about that man when he told his sons, do this to me. He said, لَإِن قَدَرَ اللَّهُ عَلَيَّ لَيُعَذِّبْنِي عَذَابٍ شَدِيدًا لَمْ يُعَذِّبْهُ أَحَدٍ مِّنَ الْعَالَمِينَ. If Allah can bring me together, Allah is going to punish me like he never punished anybody else. He had shak in the qudra of Allah. He doubted. لَإِن قَدَرَ اللَّهُ عَلَيَّ. Allah is ala kulli shayin qadir. Told them, the wind, bring them back together. And Allah forgave him. So anybody who dies on al-Islam, regardless of what he did, as long as he died as a Muslim, Allah Azza wa Jalla is the one who forgives every sins. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ونسأل الله تعالى الثبات والتوفيق. Come on, man. Get yourself together, would you, man? الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا وطيبا مباركا فيه. Rasulullah told us that Jibril came to him and said to Jibril, لما أغرق الله فرعون قال فرعون لا إله إلا الذي آمنت به بنو إسرائيل. I believe that there is no God worthy of worship except that the God that Benu Israel believed in. He said that when he was going to get destroyed and drowned. Jibril said to the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Ya Muhammad, لو رأيتني وأنا آخذ بي حال البحر أدسه في فيه مخافة أن تدركه الرحمة. You should have saw me, Ya Muhammad, when Fir'aun said that, all of what he did. I rushed to the bottom of the ocean and I got the mud from the bottom of the ocean and I rushed to Fir'aun to put it in his mouth because I, Jibril, I was afraid that Allah's rahmah would hit Jibril. Is there any doubt, Ya Abdullah, if you're a Muslim, that the rahmah of Allah is not close to you? I'm looking at eyes, and none of those eyes are innocent of dhunub and ma'asi. And ma'ahada, the rahmah of Allah is close. As Sheikh Yusuf al-Qardawi, his mistakes were not like Fir'aun. Your mistakes, you're not like Fir'aun. Don't go overboard. If Allah's rahmah can hit Fir'aun, who thought that? Jibreel, with his knowledge, with who he is. Jibreel. Then it's not okay for us to be like the Bedouin who urinated in the masjid and then made dua. Oh, Allah only make rahmah for me and Muhammad and no one else. Rasulullah said, Ya Arabi, Ya Arabi. You Bedouin, you have dayyaqta al-wasi'ah. That's the rahmah of Allah. Ummah of Islam, in concluding, this call is a challenge to you. Anyone whose blood is boiling, ha ana dha. I'm here as your brother, younger like you, older than you. Just come after and we can have a discussion. Because here the concern for you is don't have ghulu. Don't have ghulu in anybody. Your wife, don't have ghulu in her. Your child, in anybody. May Allah Azza wa Jalla make us those people who are in the middle in our affairs, and may He make us of those people who say the truth as we see it, and may He make us of those people who are the ansar of the truth when we hear it, and may Allah Ta'ala put us on the path of the Sirat al-Mustaqim, which is the path of Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali, Radwan Allahi Ajma'in. Aqim as-salat, yarhamakumullah.